Sounds by David William Hill. She whispered something, but he couldn't hear what she said. Then she spoke louder, and then in a whisper, an exaggerated, breathy whisper.
I said, did you hear that?
Hear what? He muttered.
Shh, there. That.
He lay still beneath the heavy down comforter, on his back, with only his bare head exposed to the chilly autumn air of the unheated room, and listened. He had been thinking, staring into the darkness, mulling over the contents of their refrigerator. A jar of mayonnaise, far past expiration, that he really should throw out. A package of hamburger that they should have made the other night, but hadn't. The milk was probably fine. The mustard, the ketchup, did those expire, he wondered? And then, the past due notice for their water bill. And then the front lawn that he would have to mow that weekend. For a time as he lay there, he imagined himself pushing his lawnmower, mowing down every blade of grass that stood in his path. But in his mind, he never finished, of course. In his mind, he pushed the lawnmower in one direction, and then another, going over the same patch of grass and his restless insomnia. But now, this insistence that he returned to the bedroom, the present moment, where he lay on his back, staring, while she also on her back, but apparently not asleep after all, was hearing something. I don't hear anything, he said.
Shh. Listen.
He listened.
Did you hear it?
There was no light in the room. The dresser, the lamp, the small tree were only small dark shapes against further darkness.
Did you hear it?
She whispered. I don't know, he said. What does it sound like?
I can't describe it.
Can you try?
Don't know what it sounds like.
Her body was rigid, stiff like a wooden plank on her side of the bed. He felt an urge to turn onto his side and face her. But he remained still. He closed his eyes. Like, water dripping, he said.
No.
Cheese grater on cardboard.
Shh. I think it stopped.
He felt her listening. Then a slight disturbance in their mattress, a brief squeak of the bed springs, as she shifted beneath the comforter to face him.
Like what?
She said, her volume creeping upward. He felt her breath move against his cheeks, warm and sour, like the room. The intimate smell that settles where someone has been sleeping. Well, it's a start, he said, his own voice rising.
There it is again.
She was back to a whisper, that loud, urgent whisper. Her breath struck his ear and moved across his face like a desert wind. And there was another brief movement in the mattress beneath him as her body stiffened again. He tilted his head toward her. Her face was a blank gray slab in the darkness, her shoulders and hip a shadowy outline.
A cheese grater.
She said. I meant, does it sound like one?
No, definitely not a cheese grater.
Water gurgling over rocks?
No. It doesn't sound like that at all.
Someone jiggling the doorknob?
It could be.
Shit!
Oh, stay in bed.
Oh.
He felt her hand on his shoulder as he sat upright, her hand pressing down with both insistence and reassurance. She didn't mean it, she seemed to say. She didn't mean to startle him.
I don't think that's what it was at all.
She said.
Anyway, Emily would be barking.
He hadn't thought of Emily, who slept in a dark corner beneath the window. He looked at his dog and waited until he saw her gray, lumpy form swell and deflate like the easy breath of undisturbed sleep. Yes, Emily would be barking. She was 15 years old and slept for as many hours as that, motionless. Yes, Emily would be barking, he would say, if there was anything to bark at. He closed his eyes. What do you hear now? He said.
Nothing.
She said, her hand falling away from his shoulder.
There's nothing. I think it stopped.
Her voice was almost normal now, the way it would be over coffee in the morning, or when they sat together on the couch, reading newspapers together. But not quite the voice of work, or the voice of eating out, but the calm, audible voice of home, of peace, of intimacy.
I'm sure it was nothing.
She said.
We should go back asleep.
I wasn't sleeping, he said. He let his head fall back onto the pillow and turned facing her, the shadow of her.
Again?
She asked. Again.
Where were you this time? School hall? Supermarket aisles?
I don't remember, he said. It doesn't matter.
You need to see a doctor for that.
I know.
You should get your ears checked too.
I'm not so sure of that.
Really?
Really.
You like not hearing things.
sometimes.